He is definitely ready to party. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Put Paint on It, episode 20. Can you imagine 20 episodes of season of our season so far? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
So
because
good.
we did it for how many episodes, like back to back in the first season?
I think the first season we did 150 episodes or something, which was kind of crazy for season one. Of course, all those episodes are in the void. These episodes, however, every Thursday and Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or Toronto time. Because you gotta.
Because Toronto's the center of the world.
Ha! Get it? That's a hockey joke. Because it's a puck. Anyway. Turbidious is just like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Silly jokes, silly Canadian jokes. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll just chug some maple syrup and be happy. But Alexander in the chat with a maple leaf. That's right. Alex, thank you so much for Prankster for putting up a maple leaf and representing. Yo, Canada, what? Okay, so. It's Friday. I'm exhausted, as you can tell. I'm overly chatty today. But this is your every week show. This season 3, where me, Skari, your grateful host, Tanya, my wonderful co-host, and even more amazing guests that are better than both of us show up, and we chat and sit and talk and hang out, and sometimes, just put paint on it. Which is where the whole name of this show comes from. That and trying to stay sane amongst the crazy of the world.
We didn't even plan it either, but we're repping Play on Tabletop today.
That's right. It's like a married couple who decides to, match.
Oh, yuck.
Except there was no coordination, and you live in BC, and I live in Ontario.
Yeah.
See, aren't you happy I said that you don't just live in Vancouver? That's a plus in my books. I generalize.
But you did just mention
British
it,
Columbia.
so.
I did. Anyway, I'm Skari. I'm the host of the show. And I am working on a crazy Helion guy, which has been really fun to paint. I'm slowly but surely just building up the layers of this, cloak and all this stuff. I'm really excited to, finish it, basically. Going to be really fun. Anyway, Tanya, why don't you tell us a little about who you are and what you do and how people can find you and what you're working on today.
Okay. Well, I'm Tanya, and I'm going to be painting some ogres. I just have, little leather bits on them to finish, and then basing, and then they're done. And you can find me on YouTube. I just cracked 4,000 subscribers. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, milestone! What? It's halfway to 10K, baby!
Well, almost. 40% of the way to 10K, baby! And you can also find me on Fortress Narrative Podcast. I do daily updates to Instagram, and you can find me on my Patreon. And this weekend, I'm going to my first Age of Sigmar tournament. I'm so excited. So as soon as I finish streaming here, I'm going to go pack and then hit the road and go down to actually Vancouver.
Do we still have our cold today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's me, in a nutshell.
Well, that is definitely one not hard nut to crack, because it was explained to us completely. Other than that...
I was going to say, is that saying that I don't have a tough skin? Because that's true.
No, that's true. We're all squishy skinned.
I'm very squishy.
Be nice in the comments, folks. We're all very, very sensitive.
I'm very fragile.
So I know you as Turbidious, our wonderful ghost. However, I'm assuming you have a real name. Is that one that you'd like to share with everyone?
Hi, everyone.
He's Tom.
Yeah, I'm Tom.
Yeah,
Turbidious. So, yeah.
Tombidious. I like it. And in the description, I said you are keeping BattleFleet Gothic alive by yourself in the planet. You are the force that moves these spaceships through space.
I'm certainly not alone in keeping BattleFleet Gothic alive. I have to admit, there's a very, very strong and quite vocal, actually, little minority. It's a niche within a niche. It's kind of weird to be a niche within a niche. You kind of get used to who the main kind of protagonists are in your little niche and all that. So But yeah, it's good. Yeah, I do have a lot of BattleFleet Gothic. You can even see I even realised that I'm on brand, aren't I, with the bloody box of BattleFleet Gothic behind me and like all the ships in my cabinet. So yeah,
You have to
I'm on
stick to the
brand.
brand. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about who you are, where you are, or where you're from, and what do you do, and how can people find you?
And what time is it?
Yeah, it's quite funny you saying you got off to for a tournament, and I'm like, the moment I'm done with this, I'm going straight back to bed. No, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here, because I'm in Australia. I live in Australia. I'm not Australian originally. I'm from the UK originally, but I moved over here about 15 years ago for work, and haven't looked back. And yeah, that's kind of the reason why I'm over here. So quite a vocal, quite a big gaming scene over here. I was actually genuinely surprised. It's taken a little bit of time to kind of get into it, but yeah, no, it's good. It's a good sort of good gaming scene over here, tabletop scene. So it's got a couple of different clubs around the area, so it's good. It's good.
That sounds fantastic. How long have you been doing hobby and playing games, and kind of like what inspired you to sort of like document what you do and get involved? Because you're not just a content creator like on Instagram. That's where I know you mainly from, is the
Hmm.
Instagram scene. So I'm not sure if you do any YouTube stuff or whatever, but what inspired you to kind of get involved, and you also bring the community together, and you even have like some little chats that you kind of do as well with community members. I believe I was lucky enough to be invited onto your little show one time.
Yeah, you were, and so was Tanya as well. So originally, I think a lot of people probably have tread a similar road to me, whereas a kid, and I think my video is freezing, so apologies.
No,
Australian
it
internet
seems
with my
fine.
video stream.
It's just a little
Um,
laggy, but it's good.
little laggy.
Yeah,
Apologies,
but
everyone. Australian internet.
the important part's is the sound, so you're good.
But I as a kid got into Warhammer. I originally had I'm showing my age a bit here, but it was called Battle Masters box, and it was like it was a standalone box that Games Workshop did with another company. I can never remember the other company, but it was like a big mat with a castle, and you had knights and
Ooh.
goblins and
Nice.
wolf riders and that sort of stuff. Bought that as my first ever thing and kind of went from there. But then as you grow older, you kind of fall out of it a little bit, and
Or you just get more and
then
more obsessed.
university, yeah. But then I felt, started playing again when I was a bit older, when I was at university, like towards the end of my university days, and then that was around the time the BattleFleet Gothic kind of came back out, around 2003, 2002, and I was in a uni house and ended up buying a box with a group of guys there, and started playing, and then it kind of started again from there. But then I moved, so I had to downsize everything, so I got rid of a lot of stuff, except for my BattleFleet Gothic stuff. And then when I moved here, and then it's kind of grown from there. So as you can see, I've got like my own little room now and all that sort of stuff. And but the reason why, so you can only find me on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram. I am an admin on the BattleFleet Gothic Facebook page, the main one. So the biggest one on Facebook for BattleFleet Gothic. I'm an admin for that, and I run the painting competition there and things like that, which is sponsored and stuff like that. But you can only find it on Instagram. I'm just on Instagram. I'm not a content creator like you guys. I just wanted to show off my little ships and went from there. So that was it. But
Nice.
yeah.
But you do the tabletop tour, which is really cool. But you're taking a break? No, you're bringing it back.
Yes, I am bringing
What's
it back,
going on?
but I'm taking a break. So the tabletop tour. So a few years ago, there was this weird thing in the community, and I can't remember exactly how it all came about. And it was the Instagram community, and we occasionally see it pop up and all that. Where I think they may have even like had a pop at you, Tanya, or something like that a few years ago, or something like that. And I was like, no, this isn't cool. And there was a bit of racism involved, a bit of sexism involved as well. And I was like, no, this is not cool. The hobby is enjoyed by so many people for various different reasons. I get to talk. One of the major things I enjoy about Instagram is I get to talk to all these cool people around the world, like you guys. Like, it's awesome, right?
Yeah, it's really,
Mhm.
really nice to have a. Yeah.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool? Like, I got an opportunity to talk. I'm talking to people in Canada. I'm talking to people in the UK. I'm talking to people in New Zealand. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool, like, just maybe just chat live to them? And live has kind of had come in on Instagram. Wasn't particularly great. Still isn't particularly
It's
amazing.
not the best.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask some people that I trust and like, see if they want to do like this interview series. And it was kind of initially just a little chat. It was just like, let's just go online and just chat and tell me about your hobby and what you do and why you enjoy it. And then it kind of progressed from there. And then I did that for 2 years. I basically did 80 interviews in the 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah, which is awesome.
That's
And
a
some of
lot
the
of
best
work.
people, some of the
It
best
is a
people,
lot of
like you
work.
two, you two guys were on there. Tanya was like my second guest that came on.
Right.
It said yes to me. So, and then I had people like Mini Wargaming Dave come on.
Yep.
I had Andy Chambers come
Yep.
on. I did an interview with Andy Chambers, which is probably the pinnacle. I'm
Legend.
probably never going to get higher than that. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to get better
Especially
than
in
that.
the BattleFleet Gothic, you know, like that's just legendary, right? Like,
Exactly,
oh yeah.
exactly. So I can't really complain at all. So it's been really lovely to meet people, but also it was an opportunity. The whole purpose was to meet people around the world and maybe talk to people that don't always get showcased, don't always get asked to do these sorts of things. You know, I've had a chance to talk to people in Malaysia and Indonesia and Ivory Coast and Chile and Peru and countries that sometimes you don't get to see very often. Talked to loads of people throughout Europe, in France and Germany and Italy and stuff as well. So, and it's great because I mean, you're talking to people in their second language sometimes, just so you're learning as well. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm having a little break though because I did like like I said, I did 80 of them, and
That's a lot.
I was like, I've done basically one of these a week for the past. I'm like, I can't do this for a bit, but yeah, I'm thinking of bringing it back in like September time, something like that. So if the community would like me to, I suppose.
Well,
I
I
think
know
they
for
would.
sure I would definitely say yes because I do enjoy watching them and stuff. And it's awesome to have someone bring the community together. Like that's literally how this works. Going into chats, Nameless says added you on Insta.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very kind. No, but it's good. But we're doing like so there's a little bit of a break thing from doing the interview thing. Another person I think has been on your show as well. Erin, Dark Elf Girl, or Dark Elf Erin. Myself and her. Again, it was like in a kind of a response to a little bit of people in the community mention on Instagram again, maybe not so much on Twitch or YouTube like you guys are streaming here, but that could be wrong. But on Instagram, a lot of people kind of felt like they weren't being seen, and sort of huge accounts were kind of sharing each other, and so they were kind of feeling a bit like I described it as someone like standing in the window looking into a restaurant and oh,
Just
can I come in too?
just the rain coming
Yeah.
down and yeah.
Like, oh, can I come in too and eat, please? But
It's a little cold out here.
Pretty, pretty
and it
please.
was amazing. It was amazing how many people said that they felt like that way. Like they were like, I don't feel like I'm seen. Like no one talks to me, and I'm like, that's just not right. Like just because you're maybe a smaller account with like a few hundred followers or whatever that's not right. So we decided like, what could we maybe do? And then we decided to start doing the hobby meet and greet. So just me and Erin just go online like you guys are doing, and just invite anyone can come on and join us live and just chat and get to know them and us and other people, and maybe they meet people too. And it's been really good fun actually. I've met people that I've never seen before, and first interaction, and it's really brave for people to just jump on live with you know. So it's been really good fun, actually. And weirdly, what's happened is a few people that have joined us live have subsequently then gone live themselves. So they've popped their cherry and then gone live with other people that have also done that. So it's kind of like the snowball effect. So it's lovely. It's
Streaming is really fun, and it is scary, like the first time that you do it, but it's so cool that you offer people a platform where they can sort of jump on and try it, but not have to like drive the conversation themselves if they don't feel comfortable doing that. Because that is, I think, the hardest thing about streaming is literally just speaking the entire time. So it's really cool. I wish that there was something like that for me when I first wanted to, dip my feet into streaming. But no, I just jumped in. And I was like, if I die, I die. It's fine. This is fine.
I mean, what you have to do. I mean, I feel nervous every time. I try and I haven't done many lives recently, but you guys are pros. Like you do this every week, and you've been on the Instagram lives, and you've been on YouTube, and you've been on Twitch, and all that. So you guys are pros and know how to talk.
It's funny how unpro one feels while doing it, though. Like it's just like the constant sense of like, I wonder if this is going to be good. Like I don't really like. I'm still feel like I'm winging it every single day. Like I don't.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm just shooting blanks in the dark and seeing if I can find a path. Essentially, but
and it's funny because then you'll like listen to actual pros like Steve Joel or Paul Murphy, and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like they are the ones that know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think you guys aren't giving yourselves enough credit. I mean, the ability to be able to hold a conversation and steer a conversation in the direction you want to go is a skill in itself, and I think it's you guys. I've seen you guys. You guys are awesome.
Why? Thank you, thank Tom. You're awesome too. We've got it's something I will say is the one thing I'd say I'm pretty good at is winging it, and that I might be a professional wingering it, if that makes sense.
Fake it till you make it.
I don't like taking multiple takes when I do stuff. It's like one take and go, right? Because I just don't have time to like edit or like I don't want to have to go through like hours and hours of content just to like clip out a little tiny bit. So like I've gotten good at just being like, if I'm gonna do it, I just need to do it right the first time. I just need to, it makes it sound good. And if I get into multiple takes, I'm like, this is silly. So I'm like, no, just one take, that's it, final take, however it comes out. Save time, and then I just wing it. Yeah, that's why I can't have a script. I'm just like, I
can't have a script either.
I cannot work with a script at all.
I was the same with these interviews. It does take effort to like research what's going on, but I have just cue points for me to ask kind of, oh, this person's done a Blood Angels army, or this person's is really into Necromunda, or this person's like like yourselves, when I talked to you, Skari, it was like, well, this person's like competitive gaming in inverted commas, Team Canada, so I want to learn about that and people want to know about that. So literally it's just a page of like little points. Nothing. I don't have set questions when I do these things, because then also you can drive the conversation, and I think it allows the guest to just go with it as well.
Sometimes
asking 50 questions.
Yeah. Sometimes the guest knows better than you, and you should just let them. Let them speak. Just do it. Like join the conversation with them instead of talking at them. That I think is like the hardest thing about doing interviews, because I used to do 40K Today, which is like a podcast a couple years ago, and that was really good for me because Steve Joel taught me how to showcase the guest. And I think sometimes people are like, yeah, I want to do an interview show, but they don't use it to showcase the person that they're interviewing. It's a really, really hard skill to manage. But you just sort of like innately had it. You just knew what to do. And I was like very impressed because I needed mentoring to do that.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I like to think they were good to watch. And they were okay to watch. Certainly not the first series. Don't go back and watch the one I did with you,
Do it.
Tanya, because I
Do
was
it.
like,
Watch all of them.
oh
Watch
no.
all of the series. Is there like a compilation?
You can get them all on my Instagram.
Okay,
Yeah, you can
have
see
like the little bubble things with all of them compiled.
Yeah, they're all there. Everyone can see.
There's
them.
a
Everyone keeps
special
telling
name
me
for
that I should
What's the special name
put.
for one of those things?
Not
a reel.
I don't know.
Collection. Is that what it's called?
No,
Highlight?
no, they're just you just hit like the Instagram lives.
No, I know,
or
but
Instagram
no,
TV or whatever.
You can like compile them on your
No,
profile.
you can't do those. You can only do stories.
You can't do those anymore?
Nope.
Yeah, they're right here.
Well, IGTV doesn't exist anymore. It's a video. You're just posting it as a
Video,
video.
story highlight, live guide. What are these?
There are videos. There's another video one, but
is this?
I digress.
What is this? Oh, it's a highlight. Highlights. That's what.
But it's story highlights.
Is that what it's called? Technically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's from your story. Okay, that makes sense. Move along. Moving along, as in. Here comes Skari talking out of his ass, thinking he knows what he's talking about, where he clearly he does not at all. What's new?
I didn't say it.
Neither did I.
I didn't say
it. I said it. Okay, that was me. That was.
Are we complicit in? Are we complicit in agreement if we don't like say no? We disagree with you. That's.
I mean, I'm not agreeing nor disagreeing.
No agreeing nor disagreeing? Yeah. It's all good.
I'm kind of agreeing, though.
No, but it was good. It's been great talking to so many awesome people and just getting to know folks. And like you say, it's thank you. I appreciate. I like to think they're nice to watch or they've been good lives and everything like that. And you learn about the guests rather than listening to me ramble on. But no, it's been good, and I've learned from it as well. Like I learned from you guys, and I'm learning just other things about other aspects of the hobby, because it wasn't just about, because there's so many different facets of the hobby. You got the gaming side, you got the tabletop side, and you've got the painting side, but you've also got people who do like 3D modeling and the sculptors, and you've got the cosplayers, and you've got the content creators like yourselves, like who are producing YouTube content. There's just loads of different ways to enjoy it. So it was just like, well, tell me about it.
That's the cool. That's like the main thing about my YouTube channel is like I get a topic and I'm like, I want to learn more about that, and then I just find the perfect guest to teach me more about it, right? So yeah, that's how my YouTube channel started, and that's how it's continuing on. So
question about colors, Tanya. Since
okay.
I feel like you know more about colors than I do. I used a Charadon granite color, which is like an old foundation paint. It's like a brown blue. It's like a brownish color on like a I don't think you could see it, but it's like on this
So it's a warm gray.
It's like a warm. Exactly. It's a warm gray. Okay.
Okay.
Like a brownish gray.
Okay.
And, so I painted it all. It looks really nice, but it looks like it's brickwork. So I want to like get in on the little Reeses. So there's two ways that I'm thinking of doing it. Number one, edge, like putting the wash inside of every single little crevice. Yep. Does that make sense? Or washing the whole thing and then like building it up from there. But I'm not sure if I should I don't know what I should do.
Personally, I would wash the whole thing and then dry brush it, because I think that stone is one of the things that dry brushing looks really good on.
Okay. So what color would you use to wash it? Would it be something like a Agrax, which is like a orangey brown? Would it be a null oil, which is like black? Camo shade, right, which is like a green, or like a Draken nightshade, which is like a blue, or a flesh shade, which is like much more orange.
So the model itself is kind of a cool tone, right?
Well, it's like a pink, an orange, some white, and then the big skyboard's gonna be like my black with like green, basically, like the edge highlighty green stuff.
It depends. If you want it to be really neutral and you don't want it to take away anything from the model itself, I'd probably just do null and oil. If you want it to kind of contrast a little bit, then I might do like a sepia or an Agrax Earthshade, or even the green. The green might look nice actually because you've got that jade color, right?
Yeah, but I haven't put the jade on this model.
What's the end color, Skari?
Huh?
What would be the end color that you're trying to
on what
to
part
give
of the
depth
model?
to?
On what you're painting right now, the base.
I have no idea. I literally don't know. Because charred on granite is like, so I was thinking is doing a wash, then doing charred on granite again, and then I'd have to like probably do one more, right, to like make it pop, and it'll probably end up being like a charred on granite mixed with something, or like a light gray almost, like almost like a white gray.
I think, what have you done on your bases before? Like, what is the basing going to be on it? Like
it's just brown.
Because you flock
so it's like
it,
Rhinox.
right?
No, I put so it's Rhinox hide, but then I highlight with XV88, and then like the Steel Legion drab, I think.
Okay, I would wash it with Agrax then.
Yeah, and then the grays that I normally use Storm Vermin Fur, like, and then with like washes like greens and browns, and then I like highlight it with like Codex gray. It's like very simple.
Yeah, I would do Agrax. Yeah.
Okay. Agrax Earthshade. What we used to call magic in a bottle.
So I'm gonna go into the chat. Adam, hello Adam,
Hi,
says I like you guys because it comes across as totally not scripted and more genuine than others I've seen or listened to. Yes, we genuinely harass each other. Yes, it is all 100% genuine. Yeah.
You definitely see genuine interactions when we hang out. Like, it's, I wish it was scripted sometimes, because sometimes I have to be like, oh my god. But at the same time, I tend to try and have, like, especially the guests' interests at heart in terms of, like, why they came on, if they're, like, a brand or they came on more as a friend. So, like, the tone of the interview will change based on the guests themselves, right? So, if we brought like Pleasant Kenobi on, there'd be a hell of a lot more swearing and stuff like that, right? And probably very political show. And then if we brought like, someone like Tom on, we're just having a conversation with a normal human being, which is great. But then
you're saying Vince isn't a normal human being?
No.
I'm gonna run with that. I'm just gonna run with it. I'd rather.
Shots fired. The next thing I know, I'm in a beef YouTube war with Blessing.
You meant flame war on YouTube coming.
Yeah. I could use the PR, everyone. Okay.
Oh
Blessing
dear.
Kenobi, I could beat you at Magic any day.
Oh, shots fired.
No, you can't.
No, I can't. No, not even close. You would destroy me. I don't even own like a
What have you started?
Yeah,
what have you done? What have you done?
Everybody agrees that Agrax is magic. Excellent. Still choked, says Shadowsun, that Tanya followed me on Twitter.
I go on Twitter like twice a month. So if I see somebody I know, I follow them. But really, like, I am the worst at Twitter.
I started my Twitter very, very long ago. And I never really understood Twitter. Like, I still don't understand Twitter. Like, I've tried different things, like, let's do a thread, or let's, comment on things. Let's, put, like, more, like, more, like, lifestyle stuff, like, personal opinion stuff, you know what I mean? And, it's okay. Like, I'm like,
I feel like for how much effort I put into Twitter, I'm doing all right.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, it's like every once in a while I'll come on with a hot take, or I'll come on and like sing the praises of somebody who is awesome, or like
The
it's like
Age of Sigmar
twice a
community. I
month.
did see that tweet.
Yeah, I
Yep.
haven't checked it this morning, but it kind of blew up last night, so I
It
don't know.
did, because the
Yeah.
Age of Sigmar community is pretty awesome. Do you play like Age of Sigmar and other games as well, Tom?
Me? Yeah. Well, not Age of Sigmar. I'm really holding out for the new Bretonnia stuff
The
that
old
may be
world.
coming.
Nice.
So Bretonnia, so it's a game that I've always been interested in. I've got friends obviously here that love it, and a lot of them use their Age of Sigmar models as well as some of the old Warhammer stuff, old world stuff in Kings of War as well.
Yeah.
Because
Ooh.
because it's a rule set essentially. So I see a lot of that and it's really cool. But yeah, I play a lot of different games. So obviously BattleFleet Gothic being one of the ones, but Necromunda is certainly something that I absolutely adore at the moment. Got a campaign going. I'm absolutely loving it.
Ooh, I should pick your
Um,
brain for a campaign, because I want
oh,
to start a campaign
For
when I get
Necromunda
back.
specifically.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I get back from this tournament, I'm gonna like deep dive into Necromunda. I'm like halfway through the rules because I've been playing it wrong for years. Because it's
I'll do it.
super crunchy, so I'm working my way through the rules because it takes a lot for me to learn. And then I want to make a campaign.
Yak
So
Tribe is your best friend for campaign managing. I highly recommend you use that site.
What's
okay,
it
but
called?
like
Very good.
Yak Tribe,
Very
I
good.
have an account there. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But what
Yeah,
I
it's really good.
need to pick your brain on is like, how do you create the story of a campaign? Like, do you have an idea for the overreaching story before you start, or do you just, like how I would in a role playing game, kind of have an idea but just go like session by session and then write the next story after that? Like, how do you approach it?
Well, I'm not the arbiter for it, so I'm just running with my gang at the moment, and I think the narrative is being generated through the games that you play, and I've already got a few grudges against a few people because of it, and it's like, damn, that other Escher gang with that bloody Death Maiden, I want to murder the hell out of it, but yeah, it's just one of those. When I say, and Delax with their web guns, all those sorts of, it's just really good, and it kind of builds the narrative. The games kind of do that. So, but we're moving into the section of the campaign, section 3 at the moment, where you've won your territories to a degree. I've won a couple, and you're starting to build that kind of rivalry and everything. So, he's
Wait, there's
putting
different
the arbiter
stages
is
to the
putting.
campaign. Is that like built into the
Yeah.
system?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can
Wow.
use how you run it. So, and there are different campaigns. Like we're playing a Dominion campaign. You can play the Law and Order one, which is like from the Dark Uprising box, which is with the cops and the
Yeah.
corpse meat eater guys. Corpse riders. And obviously there's a new one with the Ash Wastes, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet. But I've got the Ash Waste Nomad models, but I haven't got round to
Those
doing that. But
those giant fleas that they ride look so cool.
I tell you what, the miniatures on the sprue look amazing. Like they're so cool. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Okay.
Hello to people saying hello in the chat. So yeah, Necromunda. I play Epic, the old anything. Think of old specialist games. I love those sorts of things because you get to, in a weird way. One of the reasons why I quite like Necromunda and things like Titanicus at the moment and Aeronautica, is because the rules don't change very much. They occasionally change, but I've got time to like learn them. Whereas in 40k and maybe not so much AOS, Tony, but it seems to change a week on week. I have no idea how you guys keep up with it so often, and things change, and I barely could keep up with it.
I don't keep up with 40k anymore. I can't do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the brain power. Like, I think you have to have a certain amount of innate brilliance to be able to easily keep up with 40k, and I can't do it. So, Age of Sigmar is like way more my style. It's very relaxed. Stuff changes, but it's not like it's not like crazy, I don't think. And like when they do their version of balance updates, it's not as extensive, I don't think. So yeah, it's a lot easier for me, Age of Sigmar. It might be still a little overwhelming for people who don't have any background in wargaming at all, but going from 40k to Age of Sigmar, it's like, oh, I can sit back and actually relax and enjoy these games. I don't have to study 5 hours a week just to know what my army does. So
Yeah, it's also like the pace of releases is a lot calmer. Like, you know, they released what, 2 new battle tomes recently, which is what, the Night Haunt and the who did they release together with the Night
Daughters of Cain.
Daughters of Cain, that's right. And
Yeah.
I should know that. I play them. But it doesn't feel. Yeah, they're really neat. But it doesn't feel overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not lost in the fact that they've released like 6 new battle tomes in the last couple of months, but I still don't feel it's as crazy as the 40k release schedule, which is legitimately crazy. Like,
I think why it feels different is because there's just so many more faction rules that you need to know in 40k, right? Because there's all of the stratagems, and there's all of the special rules on all of the units, and then all of the warlord traits, and like it's a lot per faction. I think that there's less per faction, and the game itself is just easier to learn. So that's why I think it feels less overwhelming.
I'm a narrative gamer as well, so like I just want to turn up, roll some dice, you know, have a good laugh with a mate. It's kind of even. If I win, happy days. If I don't, I had a good time. Whereas I feel like I don't want to be constantly having to check my rules and then obviously check to make sure my opponent's rules seem right, and it just. So I did play it like a stripped down version of 40k the other month, and it was just like 1,000. What's the 1,000 point one called? Whatever it's incursion.
Yeah.
So we just did that against Sisters of Battle, and it was good fun when we kind of played with like we're not going to use stratagems, and we're not going to use you know, all those CP things and all the relics and stuff. Now don't worry about that. Let's just have I know there's certain armies that you kind of have to play with some of those, like Guard, for instance. If I was playing with Guard, I have to do some of those things to actually make them in any way viable to actually play. Otherwise, I'm literally putting models down and then taking them off again. But against when you're playing Space Marines versus Sisters of Battle, they're relatively, you know, they can take it a little bit. So and I found out the new pointy stick ladies with the halberds are
sacrosancts.
Yeah, those ones. Jesus Christ, they're hardcore.
They are pretty.
Do not let them charge you. I found out the hard way. So, yeah. So, Bretonnians, if the Bretonnians come in, I'll be joining the AOS, and it was a long-winded response, but I do play a lot of other things as well.
Long-winded responses is how this world is made. Hello, Synthas. How's it going? Says Skari, when will we see more of your snakes and witches? Currently assembling my Daughters of Cain army. Well, speaking of Daughters of Cain, that was a great segue into that question. Well, it's technically not my army. It's definitely Mini Wargaming's army. And I just have the amazing, like, I don't want to say pleasure.
Honor.
There we
say
go.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
definitely go with pleasure.
The pleasure, the honor of
Daughters of Cain,
of borrowing,
you know,
of borrowing like armies and being like, hey, do you mind if I borrow this entirely awesomely painted army and film stuff with it or like play it? And yeah, so that's pretty cool. So it's not my army. However, I did get them to make me 5 more bow snakes and paint 5 more bow snakes for the collection because I want more snakes and more witches because I want to run lots of witches because they're so good. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Although on Age of Sigmar news, I signed up for my first Age of Sigmar GT in October. Yeah, In late October,
Awesome.
I'm gonna go. It's called the Red Harvest, I think it's called, and it's it's near Toronto, and it's 2,000 points. It's gonna be 5 rounds over a weekend, and I'm just jumping in with 2 feet. Will I go to an AOS RTT before going to GT? Maybe, but the aim of me going is to just like shake hands and like meet people, right, and just play some games and give out some Skari dice and stuff like that, and just kind of have a good time. So. Zero
I
expectations.
should get some dice made.
Yeah, just make
You
sure they
should.
don't steal your logo.
Speaking of meeting people, a little birdie told me that you potentially are going to be in the UK in August, Skari.
Not potentially. I have a ticket. So.
Well, because I am also going to be in the UK in the end of August. So I was like, oh, so
Will it
Maxine
overlap?
Maxine plays 40k. So if it overlaps, I'd love to buy you a coffee.
That would be
So,
amazing. I'll take you up on that. I leave on Friday the 19th of August. So
leave to go to the UK or leave UK to come back to Canada?
From Heathrow on the 19th.
To go.
Correct.
I arrive on the 15th. There's a slight overlap. We'll chat offline, but I'm hoping to see a few other people, including maybe Tanya on the way. So in person, which would be nice. We'll trying to work it out, but
that'd be fantastic. Yeah. You'll have a good time.
Will be nice.
Yeah, but keep me posted. Just
Will do.
Get into those DMs. Let me know what your plan is, and we'll figure that out. I know that I'm more than likely arriving on the Saturday 14th or Monday the 15th. And then I'm going to I'm trying to get a game in with Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics because we have to have a Drukarioff. Has to happen. Spider versus the Blade. I need another skull for my trophy rack.
You already took JT's.
I did take JT's. And
want to be the best Acheron around.
That's right. It's gonna be. I will. My ship is gonna have all of the trophies. And then I'm gonna be.
Does Lawrence know how intense you're gonna get?
Maybe. I'm literally.
He's about to find out.
I'm gonna have one army. I'm gonna have one army, and that's the army I take to the World Team Championship. So whatever army I'm running at the World Team Championship, I'm running against Lawrence. So it's probably gonna be the sweatiest list you've ever seen in your life.
He'll love it.
Yeah. But Lawrence is a competitor at heart, so that'll be really fun.
That might be my favorite description of a competitive list ever. The sweatiest list. I like that. That's good. I appreciate that. That's
really
good.
sweaty. I'm trying really hard, so it's just super sweaty.
Is that like a North American thing?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Sweaty?
Yeah, sweaty. Is that? Oh, do you say that too over where you are, Tanya, for stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my local meta for 40k is really sweaty.
Right.
You know what that means.
I know what that means.
It's a new one for me.
Nice.
Ooh. So basically in my meta, the people who are playing 40k right now have 0 chill. So there's there's no banter, there's no fun. It is literally just you put your stuff on the table, you try really hard, hence sweaty. Right?
Oh, grim.
Yeah, and basically they don't bring anything except the super most powerful kick your teeth in list that they could possibly make. There's no other way to play that sweaty.
Yep. That's
none of
sweaty.
that sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry the competitive game is there, but that sounds like a shit time to me.
I mean, honestly, I can do that sometimes, but I'm here for the banter. I need more banter than sweaty.
It's definitely it's not a whack thing. It's not a win at all costs. It's just because win at all costs is you're literally kind of like an asshole because you just want to win and you don't care about anything else, right? So that's win at all costs or whack player.
Yeah,
which is the acronym.
You'll get an advantage any way that you can.
Right. That's literally. I just want to win. I do not care how I get the win. I just want to win. Right. That's what a whack player is. A sweaty player is somebody who's reads this net list and goes out, buys the models, just tries really hard to win because they think it's the next best thing, and they like take it very seriously. But that doesn't mean that they're a whack player. It just means that they try really hard.
Very serious. Like, you know, like they got like the vein that sticks out of their head once you take the lead in the points or whatever. Like, just sweaty.
Yeah.
Trying so hard.
Yeah.
Sweaty banter from Keith Davis. I appreciate it.
Sweaty banter.
Sweaty banter. I'm really tryhards from Sindri. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just never. I don't understand that like I'm never gonna understand that mentality because you're pushing pieces of plastic around a table.
You were playing with little toy soldiers. Okay.
You war dollies. You play with war
doing.
dollies. Like I can't be super serious with that sort of shit. I can't. It's just not something that I can get myself. Like, so you're saying about like how to build lists in the campaign, Tanya, like for Necromunda. Necromunda you could break in 30 seconds. Like the ability to be able to bring Uber lists and Uber gang to completely ruin the game is high. You can't there's a reason why people say in like all the forums just make sure you have 2 special weapons and that sort of thing, otherwise it gets silly. It kind of seems ludicrous to me anyway for a gang of like nobodies to be tooling around with things that really Imperial Guard don't get. So it's kind of weird to me for that point of view. So yeah, I've never understood that, and I'm never going to understand that competitive. So like, I know you want to win, but like when you play games, but like that whole get sweaty and tense, like and angry if you don't, and it's weird.
I am the worst competitive player, and I will tell you why. At the last 40k tournament that I went to, I lost my first game, and then in my second game I got paired up with somebody playing Imperial Guard, and I was playing Custodes, and it was quite obvious that they were new to Imperial Guard, so I tried to help them win. I was like, oh, you have a stratagem for that. Oh, well, if you go over here, you can use your charge to take this objective from me because I only have 1 body on it, and like all of this stuff, and like that's more fun for me than like being super 100%. Sweaty and like trying to win it. I'm the worst competitive player, but I like trying, I guess.
I'm totally with you. But the thing, like I witnessed it the other day. So a new player at a club got tabled by Tau. They were playing an orc army and they got tabled, and I was like, yeah, there's a time and a place for that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you go to a table and you're like, right, we're gonna play like all the rules and we're gonna try and be tactical and all this sort of stuff. But if you just he's a new player, like don't maybe trash them to pieces. You know, you want them to come back and continue to play you. Like don't be a dick. Like,
yeah, that's how it was going in my local meta too, and I was like, you all need to be having a conversation with your people beforehand. Like, don't just ask, like, do you want to have a competitive game? Don't say that. Say, my list can table you in turn 3. Is that how we want to play? Right? Because maybe a new player's like, I'm just trying to learn, right? You're not going to learn as much if you get tabled in turn 3. Do you know what I mean? And like nobody was having these pre-game talks, and I was like,
learn the value of pain.
Spoken like a true Acheron right there.
Oh my god.
That's a very like
destroy them all.
That's a very old school mentality though. Like sending the new guy against the sweaty player who would just literally just table them for fun.
But I think that there's some people who really want to learn that way, and that's why it's important to have that conversation, right? Because if somebody told me that, I'd be like, I don't want to play that game, right? I'm just learning my army, and that's what I want. I want to learn my army.
Time and a place for it, isn't it? I mean, if you want to get into that competitive scene, you have to have those people that are willing to table you in turn 2, turn 3, because otherwise you're not going to learn those mistakes that at a tournament when you're playing someone as good as like Skari, like who is playing in a competitive scene to win points and all that sort of stuff. Like you need to have those practice games where you're going to have that, but maybe not do it to the new person that's trying to learn. Like, you know, but like you say, conversations. Unfortunately, conversations typically are difficult to have. But
because I think sometimes the new person doesn't want to like rock the boat either, right? Like, oh, if this is how it's normally done, Yeah, no, that's cool. We'll do that.
They want to fit in and be a part
Yeah.
of the group, and makes sense.
Yeah.
So
It's
the moral of
a
the
hard
story
balance.
is don't be a dick, okay? That's just like a very simple thing. And
I think that's a
just plan on
motto
it.
across the board, isn't it? Like, just don't be a dick. Like,
Well,
that should be
you'd be surprised.
humanity's.
You kind of need
like,
to you need to reiterate that. Sadly, sometimes don't be
amazing,
a
isn't it?
dick.
And you know what? I'm gonna hot take right now. If you need to absolutely kick the crap out of a brand new player, you're not a very good player.
Yep, agreed.
I agree. I appreciate the staring down the camera look then as well. By the way,
I just gotta like hammer that home. Good players don't do that. Good players don't go into a pickup game and just absolutely hammer the crap out of somebody and pack up their stuff and leave.
You know what a
Good
player
players
does?
uses it as a teaching moment.
They do, and they usually play for a draw. I'll tell you right now, if you can pull off a draw against a new player, that's skill right there.
Interesting. Yeah, that actually makes sense, right? Because it shows that you know your rules.
Yeah. It also kind of sets you up for a rematch, right? And then there's no winner, no loser, and it you know what I mean? Like it's harder to get a draw than it is to win or to lose.
When I'm playing against a brand new player, I try my best to win by 1 point.
Nice.
Yeah. So I like to keep it as close as possible. Yeah.
I mean, quite often I'm asked to do the BattleFleet Gothic stuff, and I have for years, and teach players. But the funny thing about that game is, I mean, it's an old rule set. And it never will be really updated unless it's the community that does it, and they have. But there's a lot of things that come up in a game, and you go, there is no rule for that, so you got to just go with it. And so it's very difficult to then explain to a player oh, this is the reason why it's happening that way. It's kind of like a house rule sort of thing, and as long as you're not an arsehole about it, it usually works pretty well and all that, and it's kind of like the standard sort of approach in that sort of game. But when I'm playing BFG and trying to teach someone that sort of rule set, it's like you say, you can show them, okay, well, if you do that way, I'm going to be able to do this. So do you really want to do that? Because you're setting yourself up for X, Y, and Z things potentially. I'm not going to do that, but that's the opportunity that you could present to someone. And if you're presenting all the different options or potential scenarios that could happen that you can think of, then I think that shows you as not only a good player, but an ability to bring people back to the game as well. Because they'll go, okay, well, I'm learning from this experience, but also having fun. But there's no right way to play these games. That's the thing. I mean,
quick
no
BattleFleet
right way to be a
Gothic
proper
question.
player, is it?
Do you use the
Yes.
the ABFG or whatever, ARBFG? What's it called? The advanced.
XR.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, that's yes, I have used that. So
do
typically
you use
when I'm
that
teaching,
on average or no? For pickup.
I'd probably say if I'm teaching a new player, I'll teach them the original rules. So which is the blue book, the yellow book, and the FAQ in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing someone who's a bit more experienced, then we can throw in XR, which is the extended rule set, which is essentially another guy who wrote it, and he it's kind of just a set of fleet lists. It's like a set of army lists, really,
Well, it incorporates the FAQ, right, and then adds a bunch of different ships, and a couple of mechanics do change, but it's nothing game breaking.
No, nothing. They kind of changed the main kind of rule change was around Eldar, really, and their ability to move, shoot, move sort of thing, and now it's a move, shoot sort of scenario.
Yeah, which does.
It's up to the person.
Which does lower the amount of stupidity. They also changed the Necron thing a bit, right?
Yeah, their saves are a bit weird. In the original rules, they can
and
be
by weird, it is crazy OP. Okay. Those
yeah,
Necron ships just
100%.
don't die. And then the way that you get what is it?
Victory points
from them too.
Different.
It's you can't get victory points against them either. It's very
you
hard
have to kill them
really.
them.
Yeah, and then it's hard to get. Or they just disengage and they're like, oh, bye, and you're like, and then they don't give you any points if they
They auto disengage. They auto disengage. Yeah, because
So frustrating.
Necrons being funky Necrons. I mean, Necrons are like in BFG are an example of what Necrons probably should be in 40k. They're hardcore as nails. Like they're the most advanced thing on the universe, and everything else is just secondary to them. So they do feel and play like that. But that's an army that you want to play if you want to lose friends. So in that particular game, so yeah, I remember playing a game with my Necron for typically a normal game of BFG is between 750 to 1500 points, and that's your fleet. So I ended up playing a 1500 point Necron fleet list, and against two relatively experienced players, and I gave them the same amount. So I was up against 3000 points, so double. I didn't lose a ship, and I tabled them, and I was like, this is not fun. This is not a fun list like to play. Didn't enjoy it. They didn't enjoy it. I was like, I'm not doing that again. So the Necrons have been put away forever. I'm never playing with that fleet ever again. No, it's too strong. No. So I'm like, nah, you're going away. You know. So.
And here we are complaining about how 40k is imbalanced.
Oh no, there's the old stuff got crazy.
Yeah, the old stuff you could break pretty like Eldar fleet lists where you just use escorts and you hide shit, and there's loads of ways to break those old games.
Asteroid fields of doom.
Yeah, so many ways to break a game like that because not all the rules are written and not all of them are clarified. You know, you're kind of running with it. So.
Makes sense. Xanthiadi says that there's no right way to play, but there are wrong ways to play.
Agreed.
I think we can agree on that. Now, that's the thing about playing a game like BattleFleet Gothic or like Epic, right? Where because of the fact that a lot of those are like old rules and they've been around forever, everybody knows what the issues are. At least if you've been playing the game for a while, so everyone can have sort of like that social contract, right? And it's like it's sort of like, I guess it makes the social contract more powerful in a way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Same with Epic. Yeah, totally agree with you with that. Same with old Necromunda, I suppose, as well. Mordheim's probably the strongest rule list, or most succinct one you're probably going to get from that. Certainly from that era. But yeah, Epic. I mean, Epic is you could roll up to a table with Epic and you go look across and you go, yeah, I'm not beating that army. No way I'm winning that game. So, like, yep, I'm just gonna you win, mate. I'm gonna eke out a draw at best. If I can eke out a draw, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's funny because Epic is one of the games that I think that I would really enjoy the rule set because I really enjoy Apocalypse, and people say that the rule set's basically the same.
Yeah, just scaled
essentially,
up.
Yeah.
Epic is amazing. It's a really good game. It's just certain forces when they match up in certain ways. I mean, it's rare, but like if you thing is, it's an activation game because it's the same with any of these you go and I go situations. If you have more activations than the opposing person, you're in a good position. So, and that doesn't matter how strong you are. So if you're playing Titans in Epic, you usually only have about 6 activations. Eldar are strong; they can get up to around the 15 mark activations. So they're doubling your number of moves. Hard to compete with that. Like it is hard to compete with that. And it's the same with any of these alternate activation things. Activations can be king and queen because it gives you more opportunities to move and faff around.
Yeah, your opponent's like done.
More forgiving.
Right? They're completely done, and okay, great, you're completely done. Okay, so now I know exactly what I want this unit to do, this unit to do, this unit to do, this unit to do, this unit to do. Right?
You can almost wait when you have that sort of. You can almost wait and use your chaff to goad, those higher things into striking at you, and then you've got your own hardcore units ready to go, and it's very difficult to deal with that. So, yeah, I wouldn't take a Titan list to an Epic game. They're not going to win very often, but Marines aren't particularly very strong, but Eldar certainly are. Like,
What are you
Eldos
kidding?
is really strong.
Terminators in Epic are freaking tanks.
They
They're
are,
so
yeah.
hard to kill.
Got to get them into combat.
That's true. They're slow, but they're so hard to kill.
I always loved seeing the chaos guys and when they just suddenly start spawning chaos demons across the board, and you're like, what? Where did they come from?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's always good fun. I do enjoy Epic. I haven't played for a while, but I do enjoy Epic. It's a good, highly recommend that game, Tanya. If you like Apocalypse, or if you want those big, I mean that's what it's built for. It's really cool to see like whole tank companies as well, and you've got like 30, 40 tanks roaming around the board with your Imperial Guard. It looks cool. It just looks good on the table.
I would like to, if I played Epic, I think I'd want to play Orcs though, because I would just like it'd be like perfect way to have an Orc horde that didn't actually have to be stored in an entire room. So that's what I would like to do, but
Do you
I
go
don't know.
feral orcs with all their squigs, or do you go all the mech orcs with all their cool
Oh,
titans and all
I
that?
would
You
go-
know, in between.
I would go Mech Orcs for sure. For sure. I like big stompy robots, so
Can't fault it. Yeah, a mate of mine's got all the old school big stompy robots, and they look amazing. They're solid. If they dropped it on your toe, that would hurt like hell.
yeah.
Solid metal.
Yeah, so that is something that I would like to try at some point, but every summer we try to get like a big apocalypse game in my local area. So I think I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to bust out the Imperial Guard and see what we can do. Yep.
I mean, that's what Epic was for, wasn't it? To be able to go, I'm going to play with multiple tank companies. I'm going to roll around with a company of land raiders, and here's my Titan. It's great. I always loved mixing and matching a couple of Titans with a Space Marine. Epic Force, that was always good crack. You know?
I have Space Wolves in Epic. That's the Space Marine army
Good
that
choice.
I have. I have Guard with
choice.
lots of Shadow Swords. I've got
Very
lots
good
of
choice.
lots of like Shadow Swords and stuff, and like whole tank companies and artillery companies. And then I have a bunch of Orcs. I've got an old metal Gargant. Like full on Gargant. I got like all my heavy orcs and some grots. And I got like a whole bunch of stuff. That is.
So the reason why I like Apocalypse is because I think it's like the perfect beer and pretzels game. It's just like a super easy rule set. It's super chill to play. Nobody really cares if they win or lose because you got to bring all of your toys. You know, so that's why I like it because it is literally the.
That's how I play every game. Beer and pretzel. If I haven't got beer and snacks, what is even the point of me turning up to roll dice?
See, and I think I'm kind of the person that I like to play multiple different ways, right? Like I enjoy occasionally trying to win, but I more often than not like just like to banter at the table and that is what I would like to do more. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those weirdos that can sort of straddle both sides. But honestly, like Skari is too.
I enjoy playing both for fun and competitively. Actually, like I like the challenge of playing competitively and like beating my opponent and like playing like the competitive mission, but I really enjoy doing that but with a fun list, like with a list that shouldn't be competitive. That's like the pinnacle of like my
I agree, yeah, that's pretty up there.
Like I love that. That's like my favorite.
I would like to see like a non-competitive list. I'd just like to see the face of a person. Like if you turned up non-competitive, it's almost dismissed, and then you just go and crush that meta list. I do appreciate that. There's part of me that goes, yeah, you turned up thinking you'd crush all comers, and then someone's just gone, no, I'm going to play for fun and still kick your ass. I appreciate that. It's a power move, Skari, and I like it.
That's like my favorite. I've done it.
Lex.
I usually do that very often at just like RTTs. I'll take like random stuff, and I'll play into like some meta armies and and like win or whatever. Usually if I have a lot of practice, or I've done it in AOS with like some of the factions that are considered not good factions, like Sylvaneth, not considered a top faction. Hedonites of Slanesh, not considered a top faction. But I constantly do okay with them because I really enjoy the playstyle and I put work into like figuring out the mechanics. And so I can play into, I don't know, big stompy like giants or whatever and do decently into them, right? And
Also, who
Man,
doesn't want to play an Ent army? I mean, that's as I mentioned.
yeah, the Sylvaneth
So,
is so
you know.
cool. I've also heard Lord of the Rings is like one of the best games that they make, like GW's ever made.
It is good. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play very often, but yeah, it's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid.
It is a game I'd like to play, and of course, Horus Heresy is going to be coming up too. So
Oh, and I haven't actually seen any of the rules for that, but original Heresy. I've played the first sort of iteration of Heresy a few times, and it feels very 7th edition 40k.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering how they.
I don't think the new one is that different.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
I'm
they
intrigued to
added
know
in
if it
some
is or not.
Age of Sigmar style reactionary things, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it a lot more interactive in the sense that you're playing the game in both yours and your opponent's turn instead of just like sitting there and waiting for your opponent to like do their stuff and then roll your saves. You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, meh. Like at least in like BattleFleet Gothic, you had like boarding actions where you both get to roll, or you can like button down the hatches and brace for impact or whatever, and that gives you like sort of like a reaction to sort of like get involved with what's happening in your turn when it's your opponent's turn, sort of thing, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I like the alternative activation games, and it's not just 40k. Not just 40k. Sorry, it's not Warhammer games. There's other rule sets that are awesome for that.
Yeah.
There's cyberpunk games and things like that do that sort of thing as well, and they're awesome because it keeps you invested. Like you have to keep attention span, otherwise you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where did that person go? Like what?
Yeah.
Otherwise, so I do enjoy that, and that's why Apocalypse is kind of fun because you that's alternate as well. So in my opinion.
So I'm a pretty big, like, Lovecraft mythos kind of fan. And my husband and we picked up a new game called Mythos that's like all Lovecraft, Old Ones, Cthulhu, and all of that. So, and it's a miniature game and it's like skirmish style. So when I get back, we're going to try that out. And I'm excited to try something else. I have no idea what the rules are like, but the rules are free. So I think tonight when I get to the hotel, I'm going to download those and have a look. But I'm excited to try something else. Like I've pretty much exclusively played Games Workshop games for so long that I'm interested to see what like other game mechanics are like.
I mean, 100% highly. It's interesting to play other games when you've been in the GW kind of scene. So like you look at Infinity, which they was highly complicated, but they released like a dumbed down version of their newer version to try and get players in. And I haven't had a chance to play it, but it looks pretty interesting. But there's cyberpunk games as well that are really good. Kings of War is a really cool set.
Kings of
If you're playing
War.
in
There's
that,
a couple of really good sets. There's a really fun one that's called Spear and Shield. It's like
sort of, yes.
historicals.
Yeah, it's historicals. Yeah, it's really good.
I really enjoy that one. I have a Polybian Roman Legion on sprue that I'm going to be building and painting.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like a full blown Grognar. Okay, I've got like my
Love it.
DBA, my Das Bellis Antiquitate like stands. I got 12 little like Roman stands, ready to like I'm building a little camp, so I have like a little camp and stuff. And I'm painting those up. I'll have my little DBA army. AK, there's lots of different ways to play, but I also really enjoy like board games. Like in terms of the GW stuff, have you ever played a full not Battlefleet Gothic, a full Blackstone Fortress campaign?
Yes.
So fun.
It's good, isn't it?
We played an entire campaign of Blackstone Fortress. I was DMing. I DM'd it. There was 5 of us. Now, technically, it's a 4-player game, and you play against the game because it's got like automated stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But I played as the DM with the expanded DM rules, right, which allowed me to
Sweet.
yeah, it allowed me to use like fate dice essentially to like influence the rolls on the Blackstone Fortress and like the reactions that the little bad guys do. I could like almost pick what they did sometimes and like pick like the worst for the party and and you could try and kill them,
Of
which
course.
was really fun. And so it was like a very entertaining way of playing. And we did a whole series. We actually it's a playlist. So if you want to go watch it, you can watch the entire us. And we sat down like critical role style, like around a table. I had live stream cameras up and everything. It was really fun. And anyway, I loved that. Is one of my favorite games, and the more I play it, the more I'm like, this is a really fun interactive RPG style game without the complication of like running a bunch of like RPG stuff, but it's like it had that feel, and we put in all the expansions like the Amble and the Chaos Ogrein guy and like all this other stuff. Ah, man. And then there's a second version of the game, which is like you go down and you find like
escalation.
yeah, you get like new characters and a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, now that COVID is over, I'll tell you we're going to be redoing that series, but it's going to be
Ooh.
yeah, and we're going to
Is it going to be the same crew?
Yeah, I think we're going to get the old crew back and do it with the old crew. And now that
Get the old Rogue Trader crew back in.
That's right. It's going to be great fun. Sindri
It's a really good fun game.
Yeah,
really good game. Good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. You kind of fall into your roles a little bit in that we only had three of us, three to now and again four playing, and we played against. Didn't go as hardcore as that Skari with having a DM, but we played against the game like it's like that design, and but it's easy to start to work out where things might go and how you the best party for you sort of thing, and quickly found out that the flamethrower pious one is that was definitely my character, and I loved it a bit. Just going around, just rocking around corridors, just flaming everything and everyone that it possibly could.
I just picture that character like so zealous, like reciting like holy psalms and stuff like that while burning everything.
It was literally at the end. It was just like this pyromaniac put like this character. Like it started off as the thought that this person is pious and everything, but then hence the name. But then wandering around these corridors, it kind of got to the point where I was just off on my own, just going, "No, I'm gonna burn everything."
That is amazing.
It was great, and then like the one of the. I mean, everyone gets stories, and that's the beauty of the narrative. But like the ability we found in the very first like sort of. We found the treasure, and the rogue trader found the whiskey treasure. Like there's the Amsac treasure, and then the very first find he finds it, stores it, and for the rest of the entire game, whenever he tried to do his swashbuckling technique where he tries to double sword people, he failed it every time. So we had this like narrative drunk the entire time. Like
amazing.
Like it's just these little things that come out with these narrative things that it's just enjoyable when you remember them, and it's just hilarious. Like just never passed his test. Could shoot for some reason. Could shoot from afar, but could never do anything with his sword. It's amazing.
Watch this, guys. like watch this. I can hit him. I swear.
The grimdark DM.
Yeah, something I did learn really quickly though is next time I'm running it, I'm taking out the cards that give you your automatically inspired state.
Yeah, take them out. You're too tough when you're inspired.
They're too powerful.
You're so hardcore.
And another thing I'm going to take out is the piece of war gear that gives you that gives your ammunition like an AoE effect. Where you could explode, like it's basically like an explosive ammunition.
I know what you mean.
And it's a tappable explosive ammunition, so it was like one that you could just keep and reuse over and over and over. And it was, and it got really crazy when it got into the hands of Shadow Guide, the like ranger sniper character, because she literally like snipe all this stuff, and like all of them, she'd literally one shot like entire blobs of bad guys. Without even like breaking a sweat. So it like became a little too easy for them to get through a lot of the encounters. So from now on I'm like, no, you can get inspired the old-fashioned way by literally, at least early in the campaign, by literally completing like inspiration points and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can, later in the campaign, I might put the cards in or give a card to someone if they do something epic or something, like build it in instead of like them just being like, oh, I'm just automatically inspired. Well, F you, game. Like.
Yeah, when you're one shot in a Chaos Marine, that's
Yeah.
supposed to be like the hardest monster in the sort of initially before you fight the Amble. Yeah, you're kind of like, okay, I've broken the game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Shouldn't
And
have done that.
there's also Mini Wargamer. The Mini Wargaming gave me a copy of Space Hulk.
Oh, another good one.
Yeah, I've only played maybe like the first and second missions, maybe, in like the entire time that I've known about that game. I've never gotten past the first and second mission, but I have the whole set and I'm looking forward to painting it. So if you want me to paint that set sooner than later, let me know. Be like, hey, Skari, put it in the comments. You should paint that Blackstone. No, not the Blackstone Fortress stuff. The
Space Hulk?
Space Hulk stuff. Although that Blackstone Fortress set I have, I had painted one for the store, which was fully painted, and then I got my hands on another copy. So now
you
I
gotta
have
paint it again?
Yeah, but now I have a copy that's my copy. So
Your
Nice.
copy.
yeah, I'm really
Nice.
excited about that. So I have to paint it.
But like there are other games like I've been enjoying Skyrim, the Call of Arms game. That's if you like kind of Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, that was quite fun. That's quite a fun game, and because of like they've got all the artwork from the computer game, so I quite enjoy it as well. It's kind of fun to rock around with your Dragonborn shouting at things. So yeah,
Nice.
I am enjoying playing a game called Waste Nights, and it's he's back.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm enjoying a game called Waste Nights, and it is basically cooperative Mad Max Choose Your Own Adventure. It's super freaking fun. So basically, the missions that you play are Choose Your Own Adventure. So you get to choose, like, okay, I want to take the slap. This is a funny one. So you basically one of the missions has you to go either befriend some Aboriginal people so that they can help you get herbs to heal yourself. So you can choose to like basically get schooled by a young child or like take a slap from an old lady, and it's just so funny. And like so you choose which one you want, and like some of the missions are like just super super funny. And I'm so excited because they just kickstarted. I had no idea, so I didn't back it, but they just kickstarted an expansion to it as well where you get to be pirates, and I can't wait for that to be able to be bought because I'm gonna buy it. Buy it.
That'd be super fun.
Right up my alley, to be fair. I mean, talking to Mad Max, I mean, Gaslands is awesome. Like you just go buy like a bunch of like little toy cars and just stick things to it, and off you go. Like Mad Max Gaslands, amazing.
Yeah, I actually own that book, but I've yet to make my cars. So I'm gonna have to. Like, I have so many games. Why do I not play them?
That's a time, isn't it? I mean, it's quite funny talking to a lot of the people here that I play games with, and we have a once a month club meet, and I go to 2 clubs, so I get 2 opportunities on to try and get a game in. But there are so many games which we've obviously talked about here today, and you only got one day. I don't have enough time to play in the week or whatever, with work. So yeah, it's hard to get. And the thing is that like Necromunda's taken some time because of the campaign recently, but then it's like I haven't played a lot of these games for months, and then you forget the rules. So it's like, oh no, I can't remember how to do this.
Having so many game rules in your brain is definitely not easy.
I can't deal with it. Like, everybody's like, hey, you want to play 30K? Not everybody. There's 2 people in my local league. You want to play 30K? I'm like, no, I don't have enough room in my brain pan for more rules.
I think we worked out here that it was like
my one game in peace.
maximum 10. I reckon maximum you can get like thinking about is 10, at once, and then otherwise, and you're not thinking about them very well. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to play them very well. Anything more than that, and it's like, yeah, you're done. Like, you're just never gonna. You barely remember how to move models. So yeah, I think 3 is probably my maximum that I can actually do to any decent level.
3 is my maximum. So
Rule of 3.
I've got, so I'm getting rid, well, actually, you know what? I'm getting rid of 40k, so that probably frees up enough room for like 5 other smaller games, right?
Probably 20, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mentally wise,
So-
I think you are 100% correct.
But yeah, Necromunda is super crunchy, so that's going to take a little bit of studying for me to...
It doesn't have to be, though. It actually doesn't have to be.
No?
Nah, it doesn't.
Why is
Not really.
that?
You can play it in the original rules. You can play not the original, the newer version of the original rules. You can play a dumbed down version of it to start to kind of get into it, and then you can upscale it to make it more 3D. You can play just on the 2D, one level sort of thing, and you don't have to play with like things like injury dice, things like that. You can start off pretty quickly. But then where the density comes in is around gang creation and creating your gang and then managing your gang. That's where the dense kind of stuff can be. And it does. You fall into it. I fell into it the other week where it was like starting and you've got credits from your first bunch of missions. You're like, what am I going to buy? I want a Juve and I want to give him an auto gun. What am I going to do? It's like, I want to get some photo goggles. What do they do? I don't know, but I love them. So.
Do you feel like I know you say you're not running a campaign, but you're in one right now. Do you think it's better to start off with more restrictions? Like for example, a restriction might be like you can't take a weapon that has like the scarce ammo rule or something.
No, I think that's fine. I mean, like in gang creation, when you're creating your first 1,000-point credit gang, you can't take more than one specialist, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only going to have one specialist, which is rocking around with either a grenade launcher or a plasma gun or something, and the rest of your gang's going to just. You're going to have one champion who's going to be great, and your leader is going to be great, but they may have some close combat, like a chainsword or a power sword or something. But most of the rest of the gang is going to be rocking around with las pistols, las guns, and auto pistols, maybe a flamethrower rocking around, But the way the scenarios are set up is quite often you don't choose who's coming in your gang.
Yeah, I do like that actually.
Yeah. So you could have a tooled up gang. Doesn't mean half of them are coming. They're fickle people. These gangers. They may not turn up to a gang, shootout. They're not keen. They don't want to get shot, so they're not up for it. So it's one of those days. It's one of those things. Like, do I want to tool up my gang to be like I've only got 6 people, but then I'm only taking 2 of them, and across me there's like 8 gangers. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to play the Escher gang. Sometimes I feel like they're better alone, just being like mobile and sort of being sneaky, but then other times I'm like, no, you definitely need to keep some of them together. So I have yet to figure it out, but I'm kind of enjoying trying to figure out the different play styles and stuff. My husband plays Goliaths, and they're just so big and like smashy, and he seems to have a pretty good understanding of how they work.
Goliaths are quite forgiving in a way because of their toughness. So you can kind of roll forward and take it, but I would Escher. I'm learning as well. I lost a lot of games earlier on with my Escher gang. And now I've started to kind of learn that you have a basic platform with your las gunners because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
Hot shot las guns. People don't expect those. But like you building a gang that has a little bit of shootiness to be able to hold down and keep people thinking, but then having a couple of, I like running 2 to 3 close combat specialists, and usually I try and keep, if you're playing just a normal 1,000-point credit guide and you're fighting, I try and keep a couple of the girls at the back to shoot with their las guns. Usually a grenade launcher in there to throw out some choke gas grenades because they're hilarious and mean. And then I have a couple of Jews rocking around paired with the close combat people. And the purpose for that is you put the Jew in front of them, so people have to shoot the Jew first, or have to pass a test to shoot the bigger threat. And for Escher, Toxin.
Yeah.
Toxin and alchemy. It's all about toxin and alchemy. I mean, like I say, you can build a horrible thing like a Death Maiden. You could build her with a couple of toxin weapons and then put hyper on her, which means she rolls d6 when she's charging, not d3. And suddenly she's, you could be an evil person and pair her with a champion who has overseer, so she gets to move twice. I mean, it's just mean. Like you could be evil and cruel, but yeah.
I do have a Death Maiden, the Death Maiden box set, like the expansion. So
but
you're giving me lots of ideas.
The fight, though, right?
Death Maidens are deadly. They are deadly. They're glass cannons. Escher are glass cannons. You got to get in, hit hard, and then run away.
I have the police gang. I think the police force.
Yeah, Palatine Enforcers. They're pretty good. I mean, they're good for grenade launches. They don't have a tremendous access to a lot of other weapons starting out. But every gang, in a campaign, every gang gets access. Even the police get access to the black market. So the moment you play one campaign mission, you can just buy whatever the hell you want, really. So,
Excellent.
I mean, it makes no sense for the police. Like, in their list, they don't have flamethrowers, and they don't have heavy flamers, and they don't have plasma. And I'm like, surely, like, they would have that to purge.
They would have had, like, contraband. Like, surely they would have confiscated that stuff off of other people, right?
Yeah. The guys with the shields are pretty good. Like they get a good save. The shock staves are pretty cool for them. They're versatile, so they can reach out and hit people not, a bit further out and all that. So I'm really enjoying the dynamic. I mean, I think the worst gang probably, if you want to be one of those evil humans that play competitively, which you can't really do in Necromunda, you just can't.
It's not the rules. The rules aren't supportive of that.
No, not really. But I think corpse grinders are probably the ones that are probably the most brutal. Especially in close combat, the amount of attacks that they throw out. I mean, you're basically just killing anything.
Mechanics basically that help them.
Yeah, you got to pass tests to fight them because they've got these weird masks that freak people out and all this sort of stuff. So they're fun, they're cool, they've got a cool rule set, but you're probably one of those games, one of those armies. You probably only want to play a few times before people are like, piss off, leave me alone.
Unless it's a campaign, in which case sucks.
Unless it's a campaign,
because you're gonna have to deal with them. Anyway, I put a wash on his cape. I put a wash on his skin. I put a wash on the hair. I did a first highlight on the skyboard. I put a wash on the base. I feel like I did a lot today for my Helion guy.
I did the leather on 2 dudes. That's what I did. Yep.
That's exciting. So, Tom, before we finish up for
today, I stayed awake.
You did.
You stayed awake.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Hey, Dracon, what's going on? Greetings from Canada. Hello, he says, from Germany. Hello. Thanks for saying hello. Thank you so much for coming on, Tom. This was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Staying up late till 2:30 in the morning, just hanging out with us. Fantastic
what a friggin'
time.
champion.
What a champ. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So, why don't you tell everybody at home where they can find you? I'll be putting a link to your Instagram down in the comments, so make sure you check that out in the pinned comment. But please tell us a little bit more about you and what you have coming down the pipeline.
Oh, thank you, guys. I'm glad I got up for it. It's always lovely talking to you, Per. That you're lovely, and yeah, you're awesome members of the community that I'm very pleased to have got to know over the past few years. So thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram on Turbidious. Just look up Turbidious, or look up BattleFleet Gothic stuff, and you'll generally find me. Or you can there's on the Facebook page, the that I run, that I'm an admin for Battlefield Gothic as well. If you're interested in that and want to learn more about that game, then head us up there. But yeah, Turbidious on Instagram, and I've got a full addition to my AdMech fleet coming.
Nice.
Which is probably my biggest Battlefield Gothic thing. But then I've got tons and tons of bloody Necromunda terrain to do, which I'm slowly getting there. And I need to add in. And I started this, but with the tabletop tour, and I never finished it. But I did a bunch of graffiti with loads of people's different logos.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna have to try and do. I've got yours on here somewhere, Tanya, but I'm gonna have to try and do Skari's at some point. I think my skill level is not that level to do yours, Skari, but I'm gonna try.
Excellent. I expect perfection.
You're not gonna get it with me. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm always open for a chat on Instagram. I like to think I'm pretty open and chatty. So if you're interested in any of that, just hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Tanya, quick little recap. Where can people find you? Where are you from? All that good stuff before we finish up for the day.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on my Patreon Discord. You can find me on YouTube. And you can find me on Fortune Narrative Podcast. Yeah, I'm going to a tournament this weekend. I'm super excited.
That's fantastically amazing. Other than that, I've been Skari, your grateful host. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you like what I do here, make sure you give some love to everyone else that does content. If you'd like to support me directly, I do have a Patreon, which is the best way to just throw me a couple bucks so I can continue doing what I do and joining a really cool community in the meantime of denizens that have no souls. Other than that, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be back next week with more amazing guests in this show that we like to call Just Put Paint on It. And don't forget to use the hashtag Pintalo if you speak Spanish, or Just Put Paint on It, because it is the best hashtag in all of the land. Bye, everybody.
You're so humble.
All of the land.
Me? I'm the bestest humble person there is. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Ciao.